Hello, today we are going to cover the new alien registration requirement by the Trump administration. And don't feel alarmed because you will find out that it's most likely you are already registered. Trump's new executive order on the alien registration requirement will become effective April 11th, 2025. Now, it's important to note that this is not a new law. Rather, the alien registration requirement has actually been on the books in U.S. immigration law since the Immigration Nationality Act of 1952. So what's happening here is actually what's new is that the Trump administration is choosing to prioritize this requirement and choosing to enforce it. All right, so what is this requirement? Well, DHS is requiring that certain non-citizens provide their personal information and their background information to DHS in addition to their biometrics or their fingerprints so they can see their criminal histories. And once this information is submitted to DHS, then DHS will give to you a proof of registration, and you must carry this proof of registration with you if you're 18 years old or older with you at all times. Okay, so we are going to start with who is not required to register, because believe it or not, out of the millions of immigrants who are here in the US, the majority of them have already registered. Okay, number one, lawful permanent residents. Anybody who entered the US with a visa, anybody who has been placed in deportation proceedings, anybody who has a work permit, anybody who has applied for any sort of immigration benefit, even if it was denied, and anyone who's applied for a border crossing card, even individuals who came to the US and they were paroled in the US. They weren't actually formally admitted, but they were paroled. So as you can see, the thing that kind of links all of these people together is that they got their fingerprints done before they entered the US or after they were in the US. They got their fingerprints done with the Department of Homeland Security. And that is what is the key to determining whether or not you are in fact registered. Okay, now we're going to talk about the group of people who are required to register. So if you are 14 years of age or older, and you've been in the United States for 30 days or more, then you are required to register. And if you are minor, under 14 years of age, then your parent is required to register for you. But in particular, to be more specific, the group of people that are required to register are those that enter the United States without inspection or illegally, and also Canadian visitors who enter the United States lawfully, but were not given a Form I-94. Okay, so what happens after you register? Well, registration itself is not going to give you a lawful status. It does not give you any immigration rights, any benefits, even an employment authorization document. But what it does give you is proof that you registered. And that's very important that we're going to get into soon, to have proof that you are registered. Otherwise, you could be in violation of the law. So it'll give you the proof that you're registered, but there are certain people that already have this proof that we already spoke about, that are in the group of people who have already registered. So the best evidence, for example, is your green card, or your naturalization document if you're naturalized, or your employment authorization document, which is your EAD card. Another great example of proof of registration is your I-94 record. You can get that online to show that you lawfully entered the United States. You can bring carry your passport around with you, which has your visa stamp in there, or the stamp of your lawful entry, whether you were admitted or paroled. Another example would be a refugee travel document, and if you apply for an immigration benefit, but it hasn't actually been decided yet, then you can also carry around your notice of action from USCIS showing that they've received your application and they're processing it. Okay, so what if you do not have proof of your registration and you are caught? For example, you are driving, you get stopped for a traffic ticket, and the officer suspects that you're a non-citizen and asks for proof of your registration. Well, the penalty is very severe. And remember, this has been on the books since 1952. It's just now being enforced by the Trump administration. So what can happen is that officer can refer you to ICE, and ICE will communicate with the federal criminal prosecutors who will charge you with a federal criminal misdemeanor. And you can face up to $5,000 in fines or 30 days in jail or both. Now, what if you just don't register at all? What are the penalties? What are the risks? Well, it's a little bit worse. You will also face a federal crime, which is a misdemeanor, and you will be facing $5,000 in fines or up to 6 months in jail or both. So it's very important to keep in mind these penalties that you're facing, because now it's not just that you could be facing immigration consequences if you are here unlawfully. Now you could also be facing criminal consequences. Unfortunately, this new immigration policy forces unregistered immigrants into a very challenging and precarious situation, because now you have to decide whether to submit this form that will allow you to register, but possibly place you into removal proceedings, or not register, come into contact with law enforcement, and then face criminal prosecution. Also, additionally, this new registration policy places even people who are already registered and have lawful status into a very challenging situation, because if they don't carry their proof of registration, which we went over could be the proof from Department of Homeland Security once you register, or it could be your green card, or it could be your EAD card. If you don't carry that with you at all times, if you're 18 years of age and older, and you are asked for it by law enforcement, then you could be facing a federal crime. So if you or your loved one is on the fence about whether or not to register, definitely consult a reputable immigration attorney who can help you make the right decision for your circumstances. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did like it, please do like it. Leave a comment if you have a question, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thank you.